So today I'm going to talk about the feeling of discomfort and the importance of doing difficult things that you don't feel like doing, and also some tips to help you do them. So doing the things that feel difficult are often the best ways to make progress. So think of things like going to the gym and doing that work you've been putting off, or making that important phone call. Avoiding discomfort is how I got stuck in the rut I currently find myself in. And this is me just documenting how I'm climbing out of that rut and to share what I learn along the way. So doing the things that feel comfortable and easy may feel good in the moment, right? But after the act, they actually make you feel worse than before you did the act. It's because it's an act of instant gratification. You are chasing the dopamine of doing that action, but afterwards your dopamine levels are actually depleted even further by choosing the easy option. So instead, what we want to choose is the delayed gratification route. That way, you feel good after doing the task, and your dopamine isn't depleted. It's like the equivalent of healthy dopamine versus bad dopamine, and we want the good dopamine, obviously. So for example, doing the work or revision that you need to do instead of scrolling or playing video games is going to make you feel better afterwards. Now, a lot of us struggle to start these, and me included, but the feeling afterwards is actually worth it. But how do you make that shift from choosing the wrong habits to consistently choosing the good habits? So for me, I think the way to get into a routine where you can choose the delayed gratification route as opposed to the instant dopamine more often, a lot of it starts with how you set up your day. So I try to avoid instant gratification early in the day. So I recently went through a habit of waking up, reaching for my phone, turn off the alarm, and I'd find myself on my phone, just generally scrolling on things like Instagram or something similar. And I'd just sit there for an hour or so, just wasting my time and depleting my dopamine before I'd even gotten out of bed and started my day. And then by the time I'd finally gotten out of bed, I'd then find it a lot harder to focus throughout the rest of the day. So for example, I would notice more often than not, I would just open up Instagram more and scroll on things like YouTube and Instagram. And when I'd be opening YouTube, I'd almost subconsciously just be clicking on videos that I wasn't even necessarily interested in, or it was something that I wanted to watch. But it was just a way for me to numb any discomfort that I was feeling in the day and to just put off any tasks that needed doing. I wanted to change this, so I implemented a few things that I will share with you now that helped prevented me from scrolling and wasting my days, and it allowed me to become more productive and a lot happier. So firstly, I downloaded an app called OneSec. So anytime I tried to open apps like Instagram, it would take me to another page and I would have to wait for around 20 seconds or so before I could open Instagram. And this really made me a lot more conscious about how many times I'd open Instagram. I'd often find myself opening Instagram for no reason other than just to scroll for a few minutes because I was bored and had nothing to do. Another useful tool I utilised was the grayscale settings in my phone. So I would put my phone into black and white, and this made my phone a lot more boring compared to the real world around me. And so I'd find myself not wanting to go on my phone as much. Another tip I used to prevent the early scrolling in bed was by putting my phone as far away from me as possible as I could before I went to sleep. It then forced me to get out of bed in the mornings before I could even get my phone, and this also helped me to not sleep in as much or to ignore my alarms. These tips really allowed me to become more aware of the time I spent on my phone. I would notice when I was doing something I didn't actually want to do, and I was then able to choose the right choice because I was more consciously aware of my actions. This leads me on to another skill you can use to help you choose the right path when faced with a difficult decision, and this is being mindful of your actions. I find it very important to be present and be consciously aware of the decisions you are making. Meditation can really help with this. So, actionable steps that you can do right now. Think about one uncomfortable thing that you could do right now. For example, doing the work that will help you progress in life, and just go and do it. And if you're struggling to do it, take a step back and just breathe and meditate for a few seconds and sit with that thought of what you need to do and allow yourself to become present and keep that thought of what you need to do in your mind, allowing yourself to sit with that thought, and then you can make a more conscious, focused decision. I find it a lot easier to choose delayed gratification choices by doing this. You can also practice meditation more frequently throughout your day. Perhaps add it into your routine in the morning or before you go to bed, and this will allow you to practice being more mindful and present throughout the rest of your day. And so can help you be able to make the right decisions more often. In terms of progress, obviously don't expect to be perfect straight away. Let's say you scroll for 3 hours every day. Even 5 minutes less of scrolling on one day of the week, it's still progress, and you should be proud of yourself for that. Focus on that and work on the small improvements. These then over time compound into big changes. For example, going to the gym. One workout won't change your physique or your fitness, but 100 exercises will.